My name is Josh Akins, and I would like to tell you a little bit about one of my heroes, who also happens to be one of my very best friends, named Chris Harrison. So we'll tell a little quick story. The date was July 2nd, 2016. Chris, myself, and a couple of other friends were out on the boat having a good time. We're out wake surfing and whatnot. As I go to pull him back in the boat one time, the boat accidentally kicks into reverse. Subsequently, the boat propeller kicked on, sucked me in the propeller, and it cut me up pretty well. So as you can imagine, human body boat propeller doesn't go too well. So we found ourselves in a pretty dire situation in which I was looking at losing both of my legs. So Chris and I, we applied some tourniquets and did some self-aid and some buddy aid that we had learned through the United States Army, since we're both veterans. And ultimately, we ended up saving my legs, had a couple of surgeries, spent about 5 weeks in the hospital doing some physical therapy. But it's all really hindsight in the fact that I'm up and walking alive, all thanks to the quick thinking action of Chris. So as I stated, Chris is a veteran. He served in Iraq in 2004. He ultimately served again in Afghanistan in 2008 and 2009. I've known Chris since about 2011 now, and we've been pretty close friends and got a lot closer after the accident happened. So up until about 2016, I believe it was the end of it, I was in his house one day, and I went and walked into his office, and I see a Purple Heart hanging on the wall. Again, I've known Chris for about 5 years now, so this entire time I've come to find out one of my very best friends now is walking around with a Purple Heart from 2004 when a mortar round exploded very close to him, and he's currently walking around with 27 pieces of shrapnel in his left leg and the back of his neck. Chris is very modest about all of his awards. Another one I found out that was on his what we call the I Love Myself wall, where we prominently display some of the medals and awards and some accomplishments we have, is I saw a Bronze Star. The Bronze Star is the third highest award you can get from the military. You have the Medal of Honor, Silver Star, then you have the Bronze Star. Well, on his Bronze Star, he also has what's called a V device. The V device is for valor. Ultimately, Chris was awarded this back in 2008, his second combat deployment, for orchestrating his men getting out of some hostile fire by ultimately drawing some fire for them while they got evacuated so the guys could get kind of flown out, evac'd out so they could get the care that they needed. So Chris, again, is very modest about all of this. I've known Chris again since 2011, haven't heard any of these stories, and I just kind of come across it. Chris also, once he retired from the military, he ended up getting a medical retirement, so he retired a little bit earlier than a lot of people. He became a police officer for Alpharetta. He was a canine cop for them for a couple of years, but until he decided that he was kind of done with that as well. So he ultimately took an early retirement from them, and he has early retirement from the military. So you have this young man, he's about 34 years old now, and he's done more than I can imagine doing in my lifetime, which is why he's one of my huge heroes. There's a saying that I couldn't quite find who stated it outside of Facebook and some memes and maybe on a t-shirt that says, I am no hero, but I've had the honor of serving with a few. And I'm very proud to say that one of my very best friends, Chris, is one of those huge heroes that I've been having the honor to serve with. Thank you. That's a little bit about one of my heroes, Christopher Harrison, and I hope you guys have a great day.